Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. Tonight, we dive into a story that could reshape the very foundation of Golden State's dynasty. Steve Kerr's future as head coach of the Warriors. With his contract set to expire at the end of next season, Kerr's recent comments have sparked a whirlwind of speculation. Will he stay? Will he go? Or is a stunning departure on the horizon? It all began during Friday's end-of-season exit. Interviews, conducted just days after the Warriors' heartbreaking second-round ouster at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Down 3-1 in the series, Golden State rallied to force a Game 5 in Minnesota, only to fall short without their franchise icon, Stephen Curry, whose hamstring strain in Game 1 sidelined him for the final 4 games. That absence exposed cracks in rotation, tested bench depth, and ultimately signaled that even the most decorated head coach may face pressure when the chips are down. Steve Kerr, now in his 11th season on the Bay, has amassed an unprecedented resume. 4 NBA championships, a record-breaking 73-9 regular season mark in 2015-16, Coach of the Year honors, and a reputation as one of the league's most player-friendly, analytically savvy leaders. Yet, at Friday's press gathering, Kerr addressed the looming question of his contract in a manner both reassuring and intriguingly ambiguous. "At this point, I'm year to year. I love my job. It's so much fun. I know where my team is. I know where the organization is, so I'm perfectly comfortable just going year by year to this point." On the surface, Kerr's message drips with confidence. He enjoys coaching, trusts the front office's vision, and has no immediate plans to bolt. But that year-to-year phrasing sent shockwaves through the NBA community, planting seeds of doubt in fans and pundits alike. Could Kerr be quietly signaling that the next season might be his last in Golden State? Or is he simply embracing a flexible, ride-the-wave mindset, focusing on the present year's goals rather than worrying about multi-year deals? Let's consider the context. The Warriors' front office has already begun the monumental task of retooling around Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, an aging core now facing the uphill battle of contending in a loaded Western Conference. GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. and ownership must balance salary cap constraints, luxury tax penalties, and the pursuit of complementary pieces to keep the roster championship viable. Negotiating a long-term extension with Kerr could require allocating significant financial resources toward coaching staff retention, perhaps at the expense of key player contracts or free agent pursuits. Moreover, Kerr's tenure has seen a shift in coaching trends across the league. Innovative assistants, like Mike Brown, Kenny Atkinson, and Mike Dunleavy Sr., have departed to pursue head coaching opportunities, while Kerr's system faces continuous adjustment to modern play styles emphasizing positionless lineups and hyperspacing. Could Kerr be contemplating a sabbatical, an NBA college coaching pivot, or a front office role? After all, his leadership extends beyond X's and O's. Kerr has become an influential ambassador for player empowerment and mental health advocacy. Such contributions might beckon a different kind of challenge. Of course, the Warriors' brass will want continuity, especially after establishing a championship culture defined by Kerr's open communication style and trust in star players. Sources close to the organization suggest that ownership views Kerr as the ideal steward for Curry's late career arc, a bridge between the dynasty's golden years and its next chapter. Yet, comfort and fun can be double-edged. They may hint at Kerr's desire to coach at his own pace, on his own terms, rather than under a multi-year obligation that might feel like a treadmill. Let's play out the possibilities. If Kerr opts for a 1-year extension, the Warriors enter each season with a clear, short-term coach and a prove-it atmosphere, holding everyone accountable to immediate results. Fans might see intense competitive sparks, a laser focus on winning now. However, frequent renegotiations could breed uncertainty, distracting players during training camp or trade deadlines. Alternatively, a 3- or 4-year contract would solidify Kerr's presence, allowing for long-range strategic planning, retooling under his system, and grooming successors from within his coaching tree. But a multi-year deal freezes the salary cap, for coaching potentially limiting midseason flexibility. Then there's the wild card, Kerr stepping away entirely. Imagine rumors swirling at All-Star Weekend, whispers of Kerr retirement trending on social media. The Warriors scramble to find a successor, an internal candidate like assistant Mike Brown, or an external star coach like Eric Spoelstra, or Doc Rivers. Such a seismic change could upend team chemistry. Star players accustomed to Kerr's tailored approach might chafe under a different leader's style. The front office would have to balance continuity with innovation, ensuring the next hire can steward Curry's twilight years while integrating new talent. Now, what do the numbers say? Under Kerr's watch, the Warriors rank in the top 5 for offensive efficiency nearly every season, thanks to motion offense schemes and deadly pick-and-roll execution. His teams average over 25 assists per game, maximizing ball movement and eating spacing. However, defensive performance has dipped at times. This postseason series saw defensive lapses without Curry frequently exploited by the Wolves. Could a new coach with a defense-first pedigree reinvigorate Golden State, or would such a shift undermine the team's offensive identity? And how are the players reacting behind the scenes? Moody conversations echo through the practice facility. Curry reportedly texts Kerr daily, asking for his feedback on hamstring rehab protocols and playbook tweaks. Draymond Green, the fiery anchor, has both praised and challenged Kerr publicly, pushing for tougher defensive schemes. Klay Thompson, ever the silent assassin, seems content but quietly concerned about system evolutions and his own role. The hair-on-fire atmosphere of potential coaching changes breeds both excitement and anxiety among veterans and rookies alike. Could this summer's drama extend to the bench? Some insiders believe that Kerr's longtime associates, assistant, coach Ron Adams, shooting coach Bruce Fraser, might also hitch their futures to Kerr's next contract. A departure by Kerr could trigger a domino effect, leading to a full-scale staff overhaul. Fans are already musing. If Kerr leaves, who? Do we want Mike Budenholzer, Ty Lue, Becky Hammon? The options feed endless debate on forums and social feeds. There's also the larger narrative of Kerr's legacy. He revolutionized player empowerment in an era plagued by player-coach tensions, advocating openness, mental health breaks, and collective decision-making. A leap into front office leadership could amplify that influence league-wide, perhaps positioning Kerr as a GM or president of basketball operations in the future. If so, we might one day see Curry offering public endorsements of Kerr's moves from a sideline seat, cementing their legendary partnership. So where does this leave us? Kerr's year-to-year comments are ambiguous enough to fuel wild speculation, and that's exactly what he intended. Rams fans, Lakers fans, even rival teams now watch Golden State's brass with hawk eyes, sniffing the slightest ripples in press conferences and exit interviews. Will Kerr return, year after year until retirement? Or will this be the summer? That marks the end of an era. As a die-hard Warriors fan, I'm torn. Part of me wants the stability of another multi-year commitment. I crave the reassurance of Kerr leading Curry and Wiggins and Poole into more championship contests. Yet another part of me relishes the bite of uncertainty, the possibility of a fresh voice injecting new energy into the system. After all, change can spark greatness, just as continuity can cradle excellence. No matter which path Kerr chooses, one thing is certain: fan curiosity has never been higher. Will he sign his extension on day one of free agency? Or will the Warriors play hardball, daring Kerr to prove his passion beyond mere words? Keep your eyes glued to our coverage, because at Warriors News Fan Report, we're following every clue, every handshake in the tunnel, every cryptic Cannerty line, to bring you the definitive saga of Steve Kerr's next chapter. If you're as invested in Steve Kerr's next move as I am, hit that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and ring the notification bell right now, because what happens next could redefine the dynasty. Imagine now that spring turns into summer, and whispers in the bay become roars. Ownership convenes in boardrooms at Chase Center, mapping out Plan A for Kerr's extension. The ideal scenario: Kerr pens a 3-year deal that aligns with Curry's contract, keeping the nucleus intact through the 2027 playoff push. Front office sources hint at a draft week meeting, where Kerr and ownership will negotiate salary, incentives tied to playoff wins, and even partial control over staff hires. Picture Kerr returning to the podium, contract in hand, his grin the same as when he sank that three-pointer in Game 6 of the 2019 Finals. The headlines scream, "Dynasty continues, Kerr pens extension," and Splash Brothers fans sleep easier. But let's pivot to the darker storyline. What if the meeting goes sideways? Tensions flare over cap space. Support staff demands, like retaining Ron Adams or upgrading analytics operations, clash with personnel budget constraints. Ownership hesitates to lock into a long-term deal amid an aging core. Kerr, ever the diplomat, grows frustrated with endless year-to-year clauses. In this version, no extension is signed. Instead, the summer calendar shows Kerr traveling for shoots, clinics, and speaking engagements, his coaching sabbatical. Social media ignites with speculation. Is Kerr walking away? Veteran players gather in Vegas for pickup games, Curry posts nostalgic throwbacks, and the saga takes on the feel of a Shakespearean tragedy. Meanwhile, the ripple effects hit the roster. Without Kerr's stability, unrestricted free agents like Draymond Green mull their own futures. Do they stay in Golden State or test the market for the final ring? Role players weigh signing bonuses versus coaching continuity. The draft becomes a high-stakes decision. Do you package picks to trade up for a franchise savior coach or stand pat? Suddenly, a new trend emerges. Sports websites running, "Who's the next Warriors coach?" Polls speculating on Mike Budenholzer, Ty Lue, or even Eric Spoelstra stepping in. The unity that defined the dynasty phrase ever so slightly. If, by contrast, Kerr's camp makes the bold demand for a 4-year extension with no ifs or buts, that gambit could pay off or backfire. A long deal cements his leverage, signaling to all that the era is far from over. But should the Warriors stumble in the 2026 playoffs, an early exit or losing record, Kerr's critics would pounce on that multi-year contract as proof of hubris. The year-to-year approach vanishes, replaced by years later regrets. And just like that, the narrative flips from Coach of Champions to Coach of Last Chance. Let's entertain one last possibility. Kerr transitions to a front office role. In the fall, we see announcements that he'll become president of basketball operations, with Steve Nash or Mike Brown stepping up as head coach. That move leverages Kerr's basketball IQ while handing daily coaching duties to a rising assistant. It's a modern model, think Jerry West's later career, but in Golden State, fans might view it as Kerr's triumph, not departure. It yields. Fresh headline: Kerr takes helm off the bench, builds new empire. Curry tweets his excitement, and the Warriors charge into the next era with both continuity and innovation. No matter which avenue unfolds, one truth remains: Steve Kerr's decision will be among the most consequential in franchise history. Will he anchor the Warriors through another championship window, or will he close this chapter and embark on a new challenge? As you watch free agency negotiations, contract announcements, and exit interviews, remember that every quote, every wink at the podium could signal the turning of a page. So, Warriors News Fan Report family, what's your take? Do you want Kerr locked in for multiple years, or do you crave the intrigue of a one-year prove-it arrangement? Are you ready for a potential coaching change, or does your heart beat for the comfort of Kerr's familiar drawl guiding the Splash Brothers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to read your insights. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an update on the future of our beloved head coach. Until next time, keep the faith, keep the splash alive, and as always, trust the process.